What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here, and I want to give y'all a quick update on the latest in Brittney Griner's case. Apparently, Joe Biden is leaning towards making a deal to trade Brittney Griner for a prisoner of war here in the United States. So let's get into all the details, man. So after months of internal debate, the Biden administration has offered to exchange Viktor Bout, who's a convicted Russian arms trafficker. He's serving a 25-year U.S. prison sentence as part of a potential deal to secure the release of two Americans held by Russia. All right, so those two Americans would be Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan, according to people briefed on the matter. This is, of course, the source that I'm getting this from is CNN. The plan to trade Bout for Whelan and Griner received the backing of President Joe Biden after being under discussion since earlier this year. Now, if y'all don't know, Brittney Griner was first detained in Russia back in February. If you're wondering why she was out in Russia in the first place, is because that's where she plays basketball during the WNBA offseason. That's how she makes the majority of her money, because they pay better overseas for women's basketball than they do in the States. So that's why a lot of people have been saying if she was LeBron James or whatever, that she would have probably been home by now, because the way we value women in our society. Biden's support for the swap overrides opposition from the Department of Justice, which is generally against prisoner trades. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced earlier today that the U.S. presented a substantial proposal to Moscow weeks ago for Whelan and Griner, who are classified as wrongfully detained. Speaking at a press conference at the State Department, Blinken said Biden was directly involved and signed off on the proposal. Although Blinken did not directly confirm Bout was part of the deal, saying he can't and won't get into any of the details of what they proposed to the Russians. In terms of the president, he was not only directly involved, he signs off on any proposal that we make, and certainly when it comes to Americans who are being arbitrarily detained abroad, including this specific case. Blinken is saying that he's intending to speak to the Russian foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, this week, which is going to be his first conversation with him since the war in Ukraine began. He tells reporters that his hopes are, speaking to Foreign Minister Lavrov, he can advance the efforts to bring them home. Now, Paul Whelan's been over there in Russia detained since 2018. His family's been waiting on him to come home for a long time. They arrested him for alleged espionage, but there doesn't seem to be any actual proof. Joe Biden even recently spoke by phone with Griner's wife, Sherelle, and Whelan's sister, Elizabeth, letting them know that he's doing his best to make sure that they get returned home. For those of y'all that may have heard about this case but don't really know the ramifications that Brittney Griner is facing, she's facing up to 10 years in prison out there, all right, over ongoing drug charges. She pled guilty like a week ago, and it's understood that her trial will have to conclude prior to a deal being completely finalized, okay? According to U.S. officials familiar with the Russian judicial process and the inner workings of U.S.-Russia negotiations. So she's still going to have a little bit more time to sit while this ongoing case gets worked out, but they're doing their best to go ahead and put a deal on the table to get her back home. Now, the U.S. government has long resisted prisoner swaps, all right, claiming concerns that they only incentivize countries to detain Americans so that they can be used as bargaining chips, which is what we have on our hands now. Advocates have questioned these concerns and have argued that it is more important that Americans are able to come home. So they're prioritizing life over political BS at this current moment. You know what I mean? Because we already know the American government ain't hitting on ish neither. The idea of prisoner swaps gained a bit more momentum earlier this year after the successful release of Trevor Reed, who is a former Marine who was held captive in Russia for more than 2 years. Reed was traded for Konstantin Yaroshenko, which was a Russian pilot who served a 20-year federal prison sentence for cocaine smuggling conspiracy. So what is the trade-off, right? Securing their release would also give the White House a very much needed political win ahead of the midterm elections in November, a point that some officials quietly acknowledged when speaking privately to CNN. There's also a sense of urgency to bring the two detainees home as the White House faces growing public scrutiny from the families of Americans unlawfully detained abroad. You know what I mean? Of course, there's been an uprising about people who have been wrongfully arrested, wrongfully accused, and served long prison sentences for no good reason. And so they're trying to clean up their act, or at least put up the front that they're trying to clean up their act. All right, that's all I got on this particular case, but I'll do an update once they come to a definitive decision after these negotiations. But in the meantime, make sure that you like and share this video. Drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. All right, hit that bell for post notifications, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.